Hey, happy Monday, everybody. Happy Labor Day. Hope everyone is doing well after a fantastic, fabulous weekend in Buckeye Country, Buckeye Nation. It's been so beautiful. Please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up, hit that like button, do that now. Get that out the way as you come in. Those who come in late, do the same thing. Click that like button. If you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. We are inching closer to our goals. So please, every subscription will get us closer to that 40K is what we're heading for right now. So listen, man, it's been a fun last, I would say, near 48 hours after this huge win over the number one Texas Longhorns here in the shoe, here in Columbus. And we've seen the media. The media has come out. We're going to talk about it. They've been they've been not disappointing in their typical media fashion with their spin and their overreactions and it's just ridiculous. And we're going to talk about it. But also remember, our super chats help to go to our Pay It Forward military and our first responders. We're going to take care of them because they take care of us. We're going to dive right in immediately with the brother Nevada Buck. How are you feeling on this fine Labor Day, sir?
I'm doing great. I've had a chance to kind of recover from my travel and, done a couple of watch throughs of the game on both sides of the ball. It's funny how you really do have to watch the game a second and a third time if you really want to know what's going on, especially if you were at the game. Because when
Yes.
you're at the game, man, you miss so much, and it just gives you a completely different perspective on things, and you're able to run stuff back and pick up on little nuance that you might not have ordinarily seen. So yeah, no, it's been great for me to kind of get re-familiar with the game. And when you know at the end it's a big win like that, man, it's so fun to watch. So I'd
Yeah.
encourage for anybody who like you got a little bit of time. They've got some of these games on kind of the highlights or the compressed videos, and you get a chance to watch it, rewatch the game. You really do pick up a lot of stuff. You can really educate yourself a lot better in terms of doing it. So I heartily recommend that.
Yeah, that is so true, man. I love the in-game atmosphere. I mean, I wouldn't trade not being there Saturday for the world. But when you go back, it's like you still miss so much because you have commentators and you have 50, 11 camera views to let you know what happened. You know what I'm saying? In the stadium, just like, hold on, what happened? Or what's the call? Or whatever. And so, yes, I go back and I've started, man, it can be very time consuming just to rewatch. I've tried to come up with a system where I'll go watch, like, we're going to go over some plays tonight. We're going to show some clips and talk about what we see on the plays and what we loved about it. But like, I try to do it in waves. I'll watch those and then I'll go watch the line of scrimmage, or I'll go watch, the DBs. Like, I'll try to break it up and take notes because it can be overwhelming trying to see everything all at once. So I just try to get it in chunks. But yes, I would definitely encourage you to rewatch. And even if you watched it real time, go back and watch again because it's very hard during an emotional game to catch everything and really see everything if you're really interested in understanding what's actually happening out there. You don't have to be John Gruden necessarily to at least just go back and say, okay, well, that's not what happened. In real time, it might have felt like it did, but when you go back and watch, it's like, okay, well, whatever. So anyway, but yeah, all right, Nevada, did I lose you? Did you lose me?
Lost. I don't know if it was the Gremlins, the Michigan Gremlins came in and hacked us or something like that, but they knocked me off. But I'm back, man.
Hey, I didn't know if I lost you, or you lost me, but we both back, and it wasn't long. So let's keep it moving. Said, did we lose B? I'm back. I'm talking. I'm here. Yes, the Gremlins are jumping on me. Let's get them off. But anyway, so yeah, so basically, I was just encouraging to go rewatch the game. That's really the long and short of it. But with that said, before we get into any clips or any highlights like that, just the Matt Patricia praise is warranted. Okay, it's one game. I understand that, but it was against a very good opponent. What we believe is a respectable, very good offensive mind. So, you got to give Matt Patricia credit. He did a great job. And y'all saw the quote, right, from Sarkisian saying his ability to disguise pre-snap was at an elite level. Excuse me, an elite level. And this is Sark. Sark is no bum. We can criticize him for not winning big games as a head coach, but as an offensive mind, he's accomplished. So that's high praise. And then the other thing, I just wanted to I'm gonna put this on the screen. Like, we talked about this leading up to the game about how Matt Patricia was going to have his guys coming from everywhere, moving them around in so many different spots. And he showed that. I mean, mainly Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese, the two guys that were moved around a ton. And you can just see it's just incredible. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you right now. Actually, let's start out with this. This is Caleb Downs lined up at the Sam linebacker position. He is a safety, y'all. He is on paper, a safety. Okay. They had him line up at Sam more than once. And then on this, the very next play, he's at free safety. Like, what what player in Nevada and Ohio State history can you remember that was this flexible? Because remember, he's lined up at Mike linebacker. He's up at the line of scrimmage as a Sam. He's up at the line of scrimmage as a blitzer. I mean, he's covering the flats. He's literally playing every position except for one tech on the field. It's incredible, Nevada. What you got to say about that, brother?
Well, yeah, I mean, they obviously, it's kind of like when you're in youth football or youth sports, you want to have your best player kind of get the ball, all the time or be, in the middle of the play. And that's what you kind of do with Caleb Downs. I mean, they move him all over the field. There's the plays they were lining him up in the slot off the end, and he was running to the middle of the field, reversing back. Starting at a strong safety, ended up as a defensive end. I mean, he's just all over the field, and I just think it's great scheme, but the challenge with that, and this is the thing that what people don't understand is, it's all good that Caleb Downs does that, but when you run a defense like that, everybody else on the field has to know where they're going. They have to understand what they're doing,
Yeah,
because if they don't, it's great that Caleb's doing it, but if everybody else doesn't know exactly what's going on, man, you can have mayhem and you can have blown coverages, and that's one thing I'll say for Ohio State. I don't think they turned anybody loose a single time. I mean, they might have got beat, or or they got outflanked, or they got out schemed, or whatever it is by Texas, a few times, not that many, but a few times. But they weren't like dropping coverages or doing it. So as many exotic looks, as many different things they were giving them, they didn't blow any of it, and that's really a tribute
right.
to Patricia and how smart these guys have been about kind of setting up this defense for Ohio State, and it really worked out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Because one thing I think that's not being emphasized enough, and the real ball knowers who have been breaking down film, they're talking about how disciplined the defense is, how well coached they were. I mean, like, even guys like Jada McClain, a new starter. I mean, he looked well coached out there. He was in position. The guys were triggering, they were firing off. When we're going to show you this play, this first play of Arvell Reese triggering. I love this guy so much. Arvell Reese is like, what's the bromance and the Minnie Riperton song? Play the Minnie Riperton song for Arvell Reese. Absolutely love this kid. I mean, he is a werewolf. He's disciplined. He knows what he's doing out there. He's not just a freak athlete that's just, you're not disciplined, but you're ferocious. Go get him. No, he's all of that. He's sideline to sideline. He gets north quick. He's savvy. He understands what's going on, and he does not hesitate. He goes now. And so I love Arvell Reese. So, Nevada, matter of fact, let's go ahead and show. And just, did you want to say something real quick? I saw you about to chime in.
Nope, nope, nope. I'm just getting prepared. You talked about Arvell Reese, fan. I'm getting excited, so I'm just getting
Oh,
excited.
yeah. Oh, yeah. And real quick, good people out there, YouTube is goofy, so we got to make sure. I'm gonna show the clip and then I'm gonna come off the screen. Just they flag stuff. They're just goofy and weird. So we'll go back to it, but we just won't let it hang around on the screen just because the YouTube is dumb. Sorry, YouTube, but you are dumb. So anyway, so let's go ahead and pull this up. And this is the fourth down. I believe this is the the second fourth down. We really stopped them that's the other thing, Nevada, is that in the stadium we couldn't truly see the the first fourth down stop. And my guys at home was saying, hey, nah, they were short. They were short. You couldn't really see it in the stadium. But it's just like, come on, man. How y'all, that was a terrible spot. And so it just, to me, we still won the game. So it's all good. But it just goes to show you how good this defense is, even this season. To lose those D linemen that we lost, Nevada, and we're still stuffing the number one team in the country with goal line stands and fourth down stops is just amazing to me.
Well,
So
I thought I don't want to take it too far afield, but I thought the
yeah.
refs did a good job, but I thought the spots were bad the whole game. I mean, I
Hmm.
that you can just tell you're watching the game and you're kind of going, "Wow, that didn't seem like they got to there," and and
Right.
it always seemed to endure to Texas's benefit. And now I'm
Yeah.
not saying anything, but I mean that's just the way it seemed. Like I don't remember ever watching a play and going, "Wow, Ohio State got a good spot there," because sometimes they do, but they didn't on Saturday, man. So yeah, that first spot on the thing, they didn't even review it either, which was really kind of a weird thing because I've heard from several people, and when I went back and watched it, it didn't even look like they were close on the first one,
Yeah.
but they gave it to him really quick. So I'm not really sure what that was all about.
Yeah. That was weird, man. And I agree. Even we were talking amongst ourselves about the spots too, real time, and it just seemed weird. It's just like, what are y'all doing out there? But SEC refs, I'm just glad we we still got the win despite that. But all right, I'm about to show this now. Here's the clip right here. Boom, trigger. That's Reese coming in with a nice hit, sees it. Here's the replay. Now, boom. This dude does not play. Or like I said, I got to take it off the screen, and I can get back to it if need be. But he was doing that all game. All right, like he came clean, went now, made the tackle. And the other thing I noticed about Reese is he doesn't catch. He doesn't do a lot of catching. I haven't seen him do any catching when it comes to tackling. And what that means is allowing the guy to get past you and basically run through you, and you're catching them as they're going upfield. No, he hits you and you go back or you go down. And so that play right there was one of many that Arvell Reese made that was just like, man, this dude is just a stud. I mean, he has the size, the speed, and he triggers immediately. And I absolutely love it, Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a really good linebacker. I mean, with no offense to Sonny, but I mean, Arvell's better. I mean, he's just better. He just, Sonny, who I love, just looks a little stiff to me, and Arvell is just, I mean, Arvell's anti-stiff. I mean, Arvell's like fluid, bendy, change of direction, and gets there violently, man. His abuse of some of the offensive linemen for Texas, the way he was going in there and just doing that was
Hmm.
just, it was like a parent beating a small child or something like that. I mean, he was going there just whacking folks. So yeah, he's a really good one. And again, just another cautionary tale. I mean, I don't remember exactly where Arvell Reese was ranked or whatever it was in the high school rankings when he came out, but I don't think it was particularly high. I don't think everybody was like, so excited that we got Arvell Reese from Glenville. But boy, is he a good player. And he had a really good Saturday. But he was by far one of our best. I mean, you said who are our two or three best players. Arvell Reese is certainly on that list.
Yeah, he's a 5-star. He's one of those kids where, like now, with some of the recruiting sites, they update their rankings like after the fact. I forget which one does that, but he's a 5-star. I believe he was a 4-star, Nevada, a 4-star, and I can pull it up later or in a minute or whatever. But no, you're correct. He was not celebrated or treated like, a great linebacker, but we got us one for sure. He's an absolute dog. And there's another play in the game. I don't know if I have the clip or not, but where he takes on a guard or a tackle. I mean, literally uplifts them, pushes them off, and then basically flushes Manning out and forces a bad play. I mean, that right there is NFL. And all them scouts that were there had to be drooling off like, who's number 8? Who's number 8? Who's number 8? I mean, he's just an absolute dog. And we'll get back to more of him, as we go through some more clips. But switching to the offense. So this right here, this is a quick play. This is the completion to Max Clare. Okay. But I brought this out because leading up to this game, people talked about how quick his release was. To me, this play and the tight window that he threw it into is a perfect example of Sayin's quick release. Do you remember this play from the game, Nevada?
I do, just because I think it was Max's only reception, right? I think was this his only
Yes.
reception? Yeah,
Actually,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. You're right. It
yeah,
was.
yeah.
So yeah, it was his only reception. He should have had to. Listen, I'm not worried about Max Clare. I'm not worried about J.J. Smith. It was frustrating in the moment. Max Clare is a baller. He's going to be just fine. On this play, he did a great job of getting through the muck and sitting down and giving Sayin the window to throw it. I mean, he basically pushes past the defender and sits down to be able to create that window for Sayin to throw it into. So I'm going to show that now. Give me just a moment. I'll share my screen. But I think it's going to be. We're about to play Grambling State, y'all. So the conservative, hey, possession game, heavy personnel. Let's just work the clock and win the Safeway play defense. It's about to be 76-3. So Claire's probably going to have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns this week, Nevada. It's just what it is.
Yeah, well, they need to get him on track, and obviously that first drop, didn't help him at all. And yeah, they certainly need to get him kind of wired up, because he's certainly going to be a big part of the offense going forward.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. So here's the play. We go ahead and share my screen. All right. So here's that quick release from display. Boom. Here's the window. Boom. Now gets rid of it. Nice catch. So again, I'm gonna stop sharing for Big Bad YouTube. But Sayin you see the quick release. In my opinion, that is a great example of what all the pundits, all the analysts, everyone's been saying about his release. Getting that ball to him right now, and also good job of Max Clare getting through the muck to get open and good catch. That's the Max Clare we know. A good clean catch, falling forward, knows how to get open. He's not a stiff, and so I thought that was a little quick, good play to kind of show Sayin's quick release. What you think, Nevada?
Yeah, well, no, it's like I said, that's kind of the whole thing. That's the Julian saying thing. He's a fast processor. He's got a quick release. The ball comes out of his hand early. And that's the kind of the element that Max Kerr kind of brings to the offense. And we got to get more of that. I mean, that's something that's going to be a big part of the offense going forward in those games against Penn State, those other tough road games going forward. That's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be the story of the game, but it's going to be a story of the game for sure. And Julian can certainly bring it.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't get a chance to see Sayin spray it around because that just wasn't the game plan. And again, I'm not, there's some people 48 hours later, saying, hey, the offense needs to improve. And I mean, again, like to me, I'm not really tripping because Nevada, you brought this point out. I haven't heard Nevada. I don't, the point you made yesterday is not being made enough. I'm listening to all these people, man, and they're not talking about the terrible field position we had to climb out of. I mean, that's a big deal. And what do we have? 9 possessions total, right?
Yeah, we did. I think we had 10, but yeah, it wasn't a lot. And I mean, field position was the whole thing. I mean, and again, that it becomes so readily evident when you go back and watch the game. I mean, we might have had 2 clean possessions where like we had decent field position and the opportunity to do it, and we didn't do much with it, but we weren't particularly conservative. We threw, I think, on 2 of the 3 plays on both those possessions. And I think a lot of people get kind of hung up on the end of the game, and they're looking at the stats, and they want the story of the game to be that Texas dominated the game statistically, but Ohio State held on for the victory. And look, you and I were there. We it was that game. That game didn't feel. I mean, we never trailed in the game. So
Right.
like and they were we never trailed, and other than 0-0, they were never tied. So, uh, it certainly was a competitive game. It certainly was a close game. That goal line stand when we're 7-0, certainly, that was certainly a big part of the game. But I mean, the better team won. The better team won offensively. The better team won defensively.
Yeah.
And I think for us, you were kind of a victims of our own success because now even when you win, people want to discount it because they're like, well, you got outgained or whatever it was. But man, it sure didn't feel like we got outgained there. It felt like that was about as even a game as you could possibly have on both sides of the ball, and we did what we needed to do when we needed to do it. So that's how I'm viewing it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, in the stadium, man, like obviously you have the anxiety and nervousness of a big game. It's like, okay, we got to get this stop, but overall, I felt like we controlled the game. Like I didn't even have my phone out looking at stats like I typically do. I was just locked in. And so, yeah, like it felt like, and then we go up 14 nothing. And then we're thinking like, hey man, we might either just end this game with a stop or blow this out or 21-0, get off the sticks. I mean, that's how it felt. And credit to Arch in Texas. They fought back and all that and made some throws in the second half. But again, being backed up on your own goal line, as many times as we were, that really, prevents your offense from opening things up even more. It just is, and it's just tough. It's just like it was funny. Me and Funky going back and forth. Funky is and he's insane, y'all. Like in a good way. Like as a fan, like we were both loud and whatever. Funky's crazy. So I'm sure his voice is absolutely stripped. But he was just talking about like pass the ball. And we were laughing about that. But it's just like, I mean, he understood. I mean, getting backed up at your goal line, it makes it very tough to really air it out. But we're going to get to a play in a moment, in a couple of plays from now, where we were backed up against the goal line and we did throw it, and it was so beautiful. That this play is not being talked about enough, but that's a couple plays away. Nevada, what you got?
Well, I just, again, in the rewatch, when you go back and watch the game and you're like, okay, that's great that we stopped them on the 6 inch line. Amazing. But then offensively, you start that drive from the 6 inch line. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? And the
right.
fourth quarter, they came down and they had that other fourth down play into the end zone where Davison broke it up in the end zone. Well, we start now in the shadow of our own end zone. And then you throw that other one in where the punter punted it and it landed at the 1 yard line and it stopped dead at the 1 yard. I mean, just there were so many times where we were just down there, and the last thing you wanted to do, it really felt like the only way to lose that game was a turnover or a
Yeah.
gaff on special teams.
Yep.
And so I just felt like it was just one of those games. And sometimes the game's going to dictate that you're going to kind of go out and have a wild offensive performance. It's going to be a shootout, and you need lots of touchdowns. You do that. Other times it's just going to be about, playing field position, being smart with the ball, and playing the clock. And that's kind of what the situation that we found ourselves in. Do I think we could have been a little bit more creative in terms of our running attack? I mean, yeah, the running right up into the middle every time, was a little confounding. But man, when you win in a game like that, where
Yeah.
you and I both talked about the national media before the game, and everybody was picking against the Buckeyes. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And the line, even in Vegas, moved against the Buckeyes, which is generally not a good sign when the line moves against. Kind of contracted towards Texas, and people were getting all excited about Texas, and then we go out and do it like you said. And now the national media, the whole thing changes. Now it's Matt Patricia is the smartest guy in the world, and this is unbelievable, and look at this pro style defense it's running. I mean, hey, this stuff we've been saying all along. It's stuff that we've always believed all along. And let me tell you, after I watched a lot of college football this week, because when you win like we did, you just all you want to do is watch college football. When you lose, You just want to turn it off and never. You don't want to watch anything.
Right.
But when you
Right.
win, man, I watched just about all the top teams. I am telling you right now. I know it's week one. I know it's this, but there's nobody better than Ohio State, and I'm not sure there's anybody as good as Ohio State is this year. I'm not saying we're going to win the national championship back to back, but I'm there's not. I haven't seen Georgia. That's the only team I haven't seen. But I'm. I mean, who? I mean, LSU, Bama, Florida State. Miami, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really having a hard time. I mean, and I'm just not buying the Penn State side. Penn State is going to have to prove to me that they can come into the horseshoe. If they can
Yeah.
come in the horseshoe and beat Ohio State, then I'll tip my hat to them. But I know what a difficult environment it was for Texas, and I can only imagine how crazy it's going to be for Penn State. I think that's going to be off the hook, and yeah, I think we're the best team in the country, and I wasn't sure I felt that way prior to the Texas game, but now I'm convinced of it.
I thought the same thing, man. Like I said, I got to see Georgia as well. But I was thinking, like, watching the games, I was like, there's no other team that scares me. Like, we played the scariest team, right? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Who else is comparable? We haven't seen Georgia, and listen, it's week one, and teams will get better, but so will we. So will we. We break it in young guys who are going to get more confidence. Sayin is only going to get more confidence. It's just it's we are going to be right there, y'all. Again, in the thick of things to win this again. So we're not saying, oh, we're going to win again for sure. But my prediction is my prediction already before this game was that we were going to make the playoffs. But now that's just even more. I'm even more confident about that, Nevada, about making the playoffs. Right? Would you put money on that?
Well, I mean, let's put it this way: had we lost the game, I think our road to the playoffs is tough, like perilous.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like with lots of landmines and stuff like this. And now, um, it would take a cataclysmic. It would take us to have three losses in the Big Ten, and you have to go back a ways to see the last time we lost three games in the Big Ten. Um, so I really like our path to the playoff, and as we proved last year, all we just need is a chip and a share. Just get us in the playoff. I don't even care what seed we are or whatever it is. But as it is now, we're kind of a prohibitive favorite to have a first round home game in the playoffs, and I'll take that all day, all the time,
Oh
because
yeah.
we have such a tremendous home field advantage anytime, but especially in December.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That oh man, I'm going. I don't care who it is, what time. That Tennessee, inject that Tennessee atmosphere in my veins, brother. I gotta have that again, man. That was just amazing. I don't care how cold it was. Like I said, I couldn't even feel the cold. It was just too much excitement, too much juice. And so I gotta get back to that. But real quick, we were talking about the media. This is Ohio State, Ohio's Tate, the Barstool cat on Twitter. His caption for this: so ESPN hypes up Texas and then knocks Ohio State for beating Texas. So you can see the screen. This is the ESPN's breakdown on why they're number two. Ohio State's number two, not number one. The Buckeyes beat one of the SEC's top teams, and they did it with the first-year starting quarterback. But it was at home against a Texas team that didn't live up to its preseason ranking. You cannot make this stuff up. Listen, full disclaimer for y'all out there. I can care less if we're number one in week two or not. That's not the point. I don't care. I can care less. It does not matter where we're ranked right now. Period. We can be number three, number four. I might even like that better. The point I'm making is, and a lot of us fans are making, is that it's so obvious the spin from the media about Ohio State over the years. Read the headlines. We've been telling y'all this. It'll be like an SEC team. They'll say, LSU, dominates, over whoever, and it'll be the same score margin. And like Ohio State, gets by, versus whoever. Like, it's been like that for years, and it's just stupid. And this is just another example. All you can do is laugh. Again, Nevada, I'm not tripping off of where we're ranked or where they got us ranked. It's just laughable how they come at it with this stuff and in the media, brother.
Well, the SEC thing is, I mean, look, we've beaten three SEC teams, but Tennessee, Texas in our last. I mean, remember we went years and hadn't beaten an SEC team,
Right.
until the Arkansas thing, and then they erased our memories on the Arkansas game because of
Right.
the trinkets and stuff like that, and then Alabama. But it was kind of like notable when we won. Now it's kind of like ho hum. We just beat another SEC team, and we ain't beating Vanderbilt. You know what I'm saying, like that. We're not beating Mississippi State or something like that. We're beating the big dogs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're beating Tennessee, and we ran Texas twice in the same year. We beat Texas twice in 2025 already. So it's
Crazy.
like it is crazy. So I mean, the way we're going, yeah, we kind of own the SEC. The SEC shorts. If you guys, the SEC shorts are a national treasure, man. They
Yeah,
are
they are.
so they
They're
are
great.
so fun. They are so great. That is the best. I'm not sure how to describe it. But if you haven't seen SEC shorts on YouTube or on Insta or wherever you find it, it is so hysterical. And the stuff that they did after the first week of the SEC stuff is just, I mean, it's classic. I mean, it's the best stuff going on the internet right now. And definitely do yourself a favor and watch that.
I agree, man. Them dudes and girls, they're hilarious. I mean, it's just great. I haven't watched it yet. Have they dropped a new one yet?
Oh,
I
I
haven't.
watched the one from week one. Yeah, I watched the one from week one.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. You might have to shoot me that link, or I'm gonna just go to YouTube.
Yeah, it's
But
so funny. It's so
oh
funny.
yeah, I know it's hilarious. But real quick, this is on Twitter, so I can show this on repeat. But this is the play I was talking about earlier. Look at Arvell Reese, number 8, coming in. Boom, boom. Look how he uplifts that guard, or excuse me, the tackle. Boom, pushes him back. This is a 350-pound tackle. Look at this. Boom, and then runs down Manning like the werewolf that he is, the hungry, bloodthirsty werewolf that he is, and causes him to, take the short throw. That is just absolutely beautiful, Nevada. Like, come on now, bro.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I thought, I mean, look, we don't have the traditional type of defensive line, and we're not going to generate the traditional type of defensive line pressure. Now, do I wish that we had Will Smith and Joey Bosa and Chase Young? Yeah, I do. We all do, but we got some pretty good players. I mean, Bo Atkinson might be our best defensive lineman. He might be our best defensive lineman. I thought Edric I mean, Edric plays a little high. Caden's a horse, but Edric's getting better was really huge on that goal line stand. I thought Caden carried a lot of effort, but kind of there Kenyatta got hurt, so we're not sure what we saw from him. But I tell you what, they're deploying CJ Hicks. They played CJ Hicks a lot. CJ Hicks
Hmm.
was one of those guys that, when I went back in the rewatch, I saw how much they played. They played him a lot. So they like CJ Hicks. They like Arvell Reese. They like, the way that they're, kind of bringing, the play where Jermaine Matthews got beat for the one touchdown from Texas. They were bringing Davison on a blitz, and he
He
just
was
got
late.
picked off. He got picked off by the wide receiver, and he just got late. He was late there. Otherwise, that might have had a different outcome. But um, look, they were dialing it up, but they're going to have to be creative with it because we don't have that dominating defensive end, defensive lineman, a guy that's going to just take over the game. So we're going to have to do it in different manners. But welcome to college football in 2025 when you've got a guy like Arvell Reese who's so bendy, he's so fluid, he's got such great strength, such great change of directions, plays with such violence. And you remember before the season, predicted who would lead the league team in tackle or in sacks for the season. I said Arvell Reese, and I
Yeah,
think I think I'm the leader in the clubhouse right now after one game. So yeah, he's going to be a really good player for Ohio State, and I don't even want to get ahead of myself, but and he's a guy that's going to make a lot of money in the NFL. I mean, that's a guy that's going to be a really good NFL linebacker when it comes time, and hopefully that's not at least for a couple of years.
absolutely. Yeah, now you nailed that, brother. Because he started out the gate quickly, and again, that's against Texas. What is he going to do against Grambling? Jesus, like I'm literally like praying for Grambling.
Well,
Like,
what are you looking for? Like what these next weeks, we had a good thread somebody put on there. What how do you define progress? Because when you're playing teams like an HBCU team that's clearly outmanned and stuff like that, like realistically, what do we expect and what are we expecting in terms of like how do you measure? Because it's easy when you're playing Texas to see
Yeah.
kind of how you measure up. But like over the next couple of weeks, what are you realistically looking for to see, and how are you going to determine progress for the Buckeyes?
So, I mean, this may seem simple, but dominance, absolute, utter dominance, taking advantage of the fact that it's Grambling State, doing your assignments, not blowing coverages, not basically not being goofy against a much lesser team. So there's that right there. Also, specifically with the running backs, I want to see Peoples because again, I'm preaching this. It's only 1 week, y'all. Like we got to be careful about making definitive statements about this team or any team in week 1 because guys are going to get better. So, like a guy like James Peoples, I haven't thrown him out yet. I think he can still be good. Yes, the running back room is a step back from what we just had. We just had an all-world running back room, but I do believe these guys can get better. I want to see Peoples take advantage of this lesser competition, get north, see it better. I know the holes will be bigger, but I still want him to dominate and just get confidence. You know what I'm saying? A tough opponent in week 1. Maybe he was a little, like I said a few pods ago, I talked to his mom, at practice. I mean, he's from Texas. He's from San Antonio, I believe. He was recruited by Texas. He was like, it was Texas and Ohio State. So maybe there was some emotion and jitters, but against a tough opponent, I want to see him come out Nevada and absolutely kill it. Take advantage of every opportunity and just show people like, hey, yeah, this is Grambling State, but you see a flash in me that I can produce. And so that's specifically what I want to see with the running backs.
Yeah, I mean, I think they were just kind of forcing things a little bit. I don't think that either one of them displayed, great patience. I think
Right.
there was one run in particular. I thought Donaldson showed some patience and let the block set up and did it, but some
Yeah.
things were blocked up that could have, if there was some cutback holes or some other things. I think we just kind of ran up into the hole a little quickly. I think we were just being a little impatient, and you know like you said, these guys, they're new at Ohio State. CJ Donaldson obviously wanted to set a tone, and James Peoples, the big game for him, first time he's ever as a starter. So yeah, I completely agree with you because look, we always talk about, we try to be fair on the show. We need to be better at running back. That type of running back play that we had, running back performance in general, play calling, blocking, running, all of it, obviously not to the standards that we need to be.
Yeah.
We need to be better than that. And I think the good news is these are opportunities to be better than that, develop that confidence, start developing some of that rhythm and start doing some of that stuff. And it'll be fun to watch them open up the playbook a little bit because no, they're not going to be like pulling stuff from the secret files, against Grambling, but it'd be fun to watch Julian throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? It'd be fun to watch Julian like go back there, Julian, and just let her rip tater chip, and let's see what happens back there because that's what I want to see out of the offense. And defensively, I want to see the backups, be responsible. I want to see some of the younger guys flash when they're out there, and I want to see the defensive line, take over the game. Not just play to a stalemate, but take over the game and really, cause havoc out there and really cause problems for these teams in the next couple of weeks that are going to be overmatched.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Just real quick before we show, we got a few more quick clips I want to get in, but somebody mentioned Iggy in the chat. Iggy played extremely well. Go back and watch him, y'all. He was already physical corner, willing tackler. I mean, he wasn't handsy this game. No PIs. He made all his open field tackles perfectly. His defense on that play, that it was the same route that well, not the, it wasn't the same route that they scored on. I'm sorry, but he was right there on top of the wide receiver, knocked the ball out. I mean, he was just great. And I'm giving him his flowers real quick because of his handsiness, people really didn't like appreciate Iggy, but he's been good for a while. It was just the PIs, but he was excellent yesterday, Nevada. I'm not yesterday, Saturday, Nevada.
Well, I don't have the stats right up in front of me. Maybe you do have them, but how many tackles did he have? Because it was I thought he, yeah, I mean, obviously he was terrific in coverage in any game that he doesn't get a holding penalty or a defensive pass interference is
It was a
certainly
great. You're
is a
right.
great game, for him. But I want to say that he was in on I think
I'm
he had a
looking right now.
good game from a tackle standpoint as well. Did he have like seven
Let's
or eight or
see.
something like that? Or am I
Davison Espinosa. Okay. Ooh, guess how many tackles he had? He led
eight?
the team in tackles, bro.
I'm telling. I mean, that's a
10.
game. That's a
10
game.
tackles, 4 solo.
I mean,
I'm telling you, and I didn't even know that before I went on my rant about how good he looked. I didn't even know he led the team in tackles. Like he
I mean,
played our secondary Nevada. To me, from what I've seen over the weekend, we probably have the best secondary in the country. I mean, I haven't seen one better. Have you?
no. I think it's clearly the team strength. We're going to play from the back forward, and yeah, it's and which is amazing considering we lost three of the four guys from the back. You lost Hancock and Denzel um, and Lathan Ransom. You lost
Yeah,
those three, three guys that had 100 starts between the three of them, or whatever it was, and we may be better this year. I mean, because Jermaine Matthews may be an upgrade over Denzel. He may be an upgrade over Denzel. And again,
for
that's no.
real.
I'm not denigrating Denzel, but
Right,
I think Jermaine Matthews is really good, and I think this version of Davison is way better than Davison circa 2024.
man. Listen, that boy, him and Matthews are like firecrackers out there. I mean, they're both like Jermaine Matthews is nuts out there. On that fourth down goal line play, he's jumping up and down, and then he takes off running. That dude is crazy. They're both nuts. They both run their mouth and they back it up. And I just absolutely let. But this is what I was saying, Nevada, in my practice report when I was telling y'all about the defense. Remember, I was saying I was more excited about the offense at first, but now after seeing them in person, it's the defense. I was talking about how fast and physical and nasty these DBs are, especially. I mean, the entire defense, mainly the secondary and guys like Arvell Reese. But this secondary, bro, like I absolutely love them. Love them.
Well, I mean, the defense was running ahead of the offense most of the spring football and most of the fall camp, and now we see why. I mean, now we see why. Because I think I think we were all a little. We had questions. We were wondering, when you're only returning three starters on a defense, and you've got a new coordinator. I don't think any of us really knew what to expect. And, it was very obvious from the jump in this game against Texas that our defense was going to dictate the game. I mean, they shut out Texas for 3 quarters, which I don't know what the line would have been on that. If you said, hey, Ohio State's going to hold them to 7 points for the game and shut them out for the first 3 quarters. That hadn't happened against Texas since 2015. It's been 10 years since
Yeah.
that had happened. So that was really a performance for the ages by the defense. And as you said in the run up on this, we're only going to get better. That was week one.
Yeah.
So the defense is only going to get more sophisticated. The guys are only going to get more comfortable with it. The backups, I mean, guys like Taiwan Malone was out there for some key plays.
Yeah.
Basically, Will Smith Jr. Will Smith, the guy that people are like, oh, why did that guy get that offer? He actually played pretty well as well. So we've talked about how Malik Hartford didn't get any burn, and we how much we think of him, and
Yeah.
Devin Sanchez is only going to get better. So I'm really excited about this defense. I think before the season, I was talking about how much of a step back the defense was going to have to take. I'm not convinced I'm right now. I'm not convinced that we can't be the best defense in the country. And I know that sounds crazy. And it's lots of different metrics and how you measure a defense. But after week one, I think if you lined them all up and said, well, who's the best defense in the country? I think everybody agrees it's Ohio State. So
Yep.
that was certainly a very formidable opening act.
Yep. And there's a lot of non-Ohio State people out there, doing their analyzing and breaking down that are saying similar things, Nevada. And it's impressive to see. So real quick, we gotta. I want to get in a few more clips before we end the show. This right here, we talked about. This is going back to Julian Sayin. The first thing I wanted to show was Sayin was a example of his quick release and all the praise he's gotten for his quick release. Well, here's the accuracy. Now, unfortunately, this play was incomplete, but look at the ball placement of this. Check this out. Here we go. This throw, look over the shoulder to Brandon Ennis. Boom, only where he can get it. Now, he's going to catch that ball. He's going to catch that ball eventually. Abuka catches that ball. Okay, a seasoned wide receiver. Abuka, that's what he did. Ennis will be that. I still have confidence in my boy. He's going to catch that. You know what I'm saying? But that ball placement, Nevada, was an example of the accuracy that we've been hearing about saying. What you think about that ball?
Well, I just think it was part of a theme with him. I mean, you gotta understand, in high school, you know how many times he was intercepted his senior year in high school? Once.
Dang.
He threw one interception in his senior year in high school. I mean, he is incredibly precise with the football and incredibly. I mean, I don't think there was one pass the entire game that you could say, "Wow, oh, that almost got picked," or "That was almost the trouble," or whatever. I mean, he was always in the right spot, and that throw to me, that's Julian saying, man, that's who he is. That's what he does. He puts the ball in a spot where only his receiver can catch it, and if he doesn't, it's going to be incomplete. Um, but yeah, his ball placement is spectacular. And probably his worst pass of the day, frankly, was probably the long pass to Carnell. I mean,
Right,
because
for the
I mean,
touchdown.
for the touchdown. I mean, that was probably his worst pass of the day because Carnell had that guy beat by a couple strides, had to come back, make the play on that. But when that's your worst pass of the game, that really tells you how good this guy. But go back, like I said, senior year of high school at Escondido High, one interception.
It's crazy.
That's precision.
And that was probably tipped or something.
I
But
Yeah, yeah, I don't even know what it was, but I'm sure it was probably a deflected ball. Exactly.
right. So staying on saying, I'm about to show this play. Listen, this play was not talked about enough from the analysts and people, whatever. But this is where, and I'm giving you some pre-commentary because it's just hard to do it during because we got to be quick with the footage for YouTube. But this is the play where first round draft pick Colin Simmons, our tight ends, they trip over each other. I don't know. It was a goofy moment. Something goofy happened. They fell. Colin Simmons comes free. We're against the goal line. Backs against the goal line. Colin Simmons comes free. You imagine he's coming at Sayin. He's thinking about his IG post. Remember, he shared the picture of Julian Sayin and tried to say he didn't put a target on him. He's probably thinking like, ooh, I get to fulfill my dream of sacking this boy. And so Sayin, and this is where we talk about where he's not a statue. Okay, he's not Braxton Miller. He's not even Will Howard, but he's not a statue. He can move a little bit. So what you're about to see, he takes off. He's running for his life, throws off his back foot. Okay, and this is 3rd and 3. We need this. We really need this to get in at least some breathing room to keep the ball away from Texas and getting them some good field position. So on the flip side, you're going to see Carnell Tate run an outstanding route, a comeback route, and the ball placement and accuracy off his back foot is a beautiful throw. And obviously Carnell Tate shows why he's an NFL wide receiver on this play. You got something to say before I pull this up, Nevada?
No, I mean, huge play, and especially in a game that came down to, kind of, holding Texas off and running out the clock and stuff like that. You don't convert this, Texas probably gets one more possession. And I mean, whole game could be different, but this was about as good as it gets right here by Julian.
Look at this. Here comes Simmons. Boom. Off back foot. Perfect dot. And if you see they're going to show the other angle. Look at this route by Carnell. Boom. Great route. Comes back. Perfect placement. Absolute dime off his back foot with Colin Simmons, the other Texas werewolf, on his trail. And that play has not been talked about, but that is another example of the cool, calm, and collectedness of Sayin, his accuracy, and also his mobility. That's what we mean when we say he's not a statue, y'all. He doesn't have to be, Lamar Jackson, but he's also not a statue. And so this kid is only going to get better and better, and that's why he's the starter. And so I had to point out that play. Anything else on that before we move on?
Well, and again, I'm not trying to be catty or anything like that, but I'm going to ask you an honest question. What
Yeah.
would Kyle McCord have done in that situation?
I think Kyle McCord would have threw it in the dirt or panicked and took the sack.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any question about it. I mean, I don't think there's no world where he would have completed that ball. His eyes would have dropped. He probably
Right.
would have gone down and probably taken the sack or maybe thrown at him or whatever it was. But Julian is a cool customer, man. And it's not to say he's never going to throw an interception or never make a mistake or whatever it is, but he's not he's not erratic with the ball. He's not easily rattled. And in that situation, literally, you had their best defense, maybe the best defensive player in America, not on the Buckeyes, with a free runner at him, and he just didn't panic, went to his route, delivered the ball perfectly, and got us out of the end zone. So that was a absolutely gigantic play that hasn't gotten nearly enough run.
Yes, I agree. And I'm like, man, we got to talk about this because nobody else is. That's a great play. It's just not in the breakdowns. Now, listen, people are focusing on defense. There wasn't a ton of offensive output, but that play was worthy. Okay, we're going to get one more in, y'all. This play to me, I want to show this because Jermaine Matthews is an absolute dog. Okay. He is a dog. Now, this is not the interception play. I'm not going to show the interception play from Jermaine Matthews. We saw that a million times. This is the play that was almost intercepted by Sonny Styles. Check this out right here. Okay, hold on. Here's the play. We're in zone coverage. You see he drops back. He sees it and goes now. Deflects the ball. Should have been picked off by Sonny. But what a great play in zone coverage. Not only is he an elite man-to-man corner, he's going to make himself a lot of money because NFL teams, sometimes they'll draft guys for their system that are, a good zone, zone corner for their system. He can do both. And you see him drop back in zone coverage and recognize it and boom, get there now and almost pick it off and almost cause an interception. Just a fantastic play by Jermaine Matthews. What you got on that, Nevada?
I mean, yeah, that was. I mean, it was Jermaine Matthews' day, man. That was a huge play, almost like a nighty night out time play if they rule an interception, and
Mm-hmm.
just because you showed the play, and I got to get up on my high horse. I hate review overruling plays like that. Okay,
Yeah.
because review was put in to for indisputable video evidence of error. And indisputable video evidence of error is, was his foot on the line or his foot not on the line? You know what I'm saying? I mean, stuff that's black and white, yes, no, completely binary. Nobody can argue it. Indisputable means no reasonable person could have a different opinion on the thing. Now, my particular opinion on this is that Sonny Styles had that ball between his forearms, and the ball can contract the ground, as evidenced by the fact that the Texas wide receiver caught the ball, had the ball hit the ground, and he switched hands with the ball as the ball hit the
Right.
ground,
And they called it a
and
catch.
they called it a touchdown. So it's like I I hate the inconsistency of replay. I'm not one of the guys that I've said this for years. It's not what you think. It's not I think they got the call right or it appeared to me to be. That's not what replay is supposed to do. Replay is only for indisputable video evidence. That's the only time you reverse the call on the field. Because if they would have ruled it an incompletion on the field, I'd be like, yeah, okay,
Right.
incompletion on the field. But I do not believe that's what replay was supposed to do. I don't believe that was I don't think it was a proper call in terms of doing it, because again, it's not about, well, I think he might have trapped it on the ground. Well, the ball can hit the ground, as evidenced by the fact that the Texas guy did the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, don't get me started on replay, because we'll be here for the next hour and I'll be screaming about replay.
No, it's you just took me back to the stadium when we were just so excited jumping around for that what we thought was a pick for Sonny. It's just like, come on, man. I mean, in real time it was so beautiful, but Jermaine Matthews, man, this kid. I mean, we saw flashes last year, but he's a dog. He's a dog. Our corners are nasty. All right, we got some super chats. Let's go ahead and dive in to the super chats. All right, Adams, 9791, thanks for the 5. The crowd was amazing on Saturday. It was one of the best environments I can remember, especially for a noon kickoff. It rattled Arch. Absolutely. It was great. I feel vindicated as a defender of the shoe and a defender of the good people in the shoe that, this ain't Tulane, this ain't Mercer, this ain't Akron. We get up for big games, and they proved that. Yes, we were salty. It wasn't a night game as it should have been, but we still showed up. And kudos to Bjork. Like Nevada has said, he's trying. They're trying to improve the atmosphere. And there were some really good improvements that I enjoyed that helped contribute to that atmosphere, Nevada.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I mean, improvements to the atmosphere alone aren't going to turn a bad game into a rocker. But I think the improvements that they made took the excitement of the crowd, the energy of the crowd, that great energy and environment, and just took it to another level. And I think that they really did a nice job. And I think it's just going to get better. I think Ohio State, I'm going to predict this right now. I think Ohio State now, I think the atmosphere at Ohio State is going to become a thing. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to become. It's not the story. It's kind of like remember the story was like Ryan Day was soft, or I say, and then he runs off
Right, right.
top five wins in a row. I like the Ohio State environment about the questions of the environment. I don't think we're going to have any more questions about the environment. I think that's going to be a non-issue in
I can
any
see that.
situation where it matters. I mark it down, and you can hold me to that.
No, I agree. The worm, the perception of the worm is turning now with that. I mean, because like you said, even against Indiana last year, it was lit. Because this whole the shoe is quiet thing, this has been a nagging. To me, I felt like it was always overblown. There was validity to it against weaker teams, but not. Listen, even against Oregon, I was there. When we lost, we were extra goofy. Yes, the crowd is going to be quiet when we giving up 100-yard touchdown runs, but when we were coming back in the second half, it was loud as I've ever heard it. I was there. The shoe gets loud for real opponents. It was just overblown. But to your point, Nevada, I do think I can see that for sure. That the return of the intimidation of the shoe is upon us for sure. So, all right, next super chat. We got Karis. What is good, Karis? Thanks for being a Scoop Ultra member. Thanks for 999. Saying look poised. I am looking forward to watching him grow during the season. OH Nevada. Yep. Definitely looking forward to it as well. I mean, we know he can spray that ball around. That was not the game plan. And even though it was not the game plan against Texas, he had 3 or 4 drops. Actually, maybe 4 or 5 drops. We had the 2 from JJ, Claire, and then the one I showed you for Ennis. That's off the top of the head. And so, again, I'm not dogging. These boys going to be just fine. But yes, I'm looking forward to us opening it up and letting our receivers get downfield and make some plays. Man, I cannot wait, Nevada.
Yeah, no, I like you know how high I am on Julian and how I'm completely confident in his abilities. If he stays healthy, he's going to leave here as one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play at Ohio State. I'm just telling you, he's
I
that
believe it.
guy, and he's yeah, the fact that he came in and did something that no quarterback's done in 20 years, beat a number one team in your first start wasn't an accident, was not a surprise to me. That's why I picked Ohio State was because of Julian saying, and again, I don't want to be the old guy that repeats himself, but I told you guys he would outperform Arch Manning. And that was not a popular viewpoint. That was not a consensus viewpoint prior to the game. But after the game, I think we all agree he was better.
Yep, he definitely was. And you can tell he's the more polished quarterback. He played better competition. I mean, he has a better resume as far as coming through high school. Arch didn't win no championships. He didn't win no Elite 11s. Listen, Elite 11 matters. There's some good pedigree coming from Elite 11. Like CJ Stroud and Justin Fields are pretty good. And so I agree. I think he's going to show and prove he's a better guy. I just put on, I saw the comment to show the Arvell Reese sack. So I showed it real quick for y'all so you can see. We didn't get to cover it. It's been covered so much. I was just like, we'll cover something else. I mean, that's on every social media you can find with that coffee house stunt. Real dope concept by Patricia with the sim pressures, and he even brought Sanchez on a corner blitz. I mean, that was just a great snap call by Patricia. So anyway, Next one here. Let's see who we got. Greg Disney Adventures. Thanks for the two. Why was there SEC ref? So I thought it was because the visiting team brings their crew. Isn't that a newer thing, Nevada? That didn't used to be the case, did it?
Yeah, yeah. If you're playing on whoever's got the home field, it's the other team's refs. So that's kind of the
Okay.
way that works. So next year in Austin, we'll have the Big Ten refs. The problem is the Big Ten refs screw Ohio State just as bad.
Right.
so
Yeah.
so you know what I'm saying. So we're gonna there. But yes, for better or worse, we will have Big Ten refs next year down in Austin.
Yeah, we will. All right. Here we go. Gio did 42. Thanks for the 5. Riley Pettijohn was a demon on special teams. Yeah, he was. We showed a clip yesterday of him taking out 3 guys, and we shouted out his pops Duke. For just being a proud father. He posted it on Twitter. Ran down on kickoff and just knocked him down like pins in the bowling alley. That kid is going to be a stud. So I'm excited about him, Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, watching special teams, you can see who kind of the next guys are. You can see they get a chance to play out there in terms of doing it, and he's going to be a really good player at Ohio State. But he's getting a chance to cut his teeth at on the special teams, and he's making the most of it.
Definitely. All right. Pooh Beard 12. Thanks for being a Scoop Ultra member. Thanks for the 9.99. The NFL concepts that Patricia put in, Arch had no chance, e.g., sim pressure, send DB in motion with wide receiver to show man, but then run Tampa 2 zone. This is the stuff why the Pats always beat rookie QBs. Pooh Beard, you're wrong. Patricia is a bum. Okay. He failed with the Detroit Lions. He sucks and we're doomed. That's all I heard, literally from clusters of fans leading up to this. I talked about vindicated earlier, and I know it's only 1 week. Guess what? I have zero doubts that this won't continue. This is going to continue. Is again, even with Knowles, we had some frustrations at times, but overall, he was great. We loved him. He was good. We got a ship. No coach is 100% always liked and loved and never criticized. So there may be a moment or two where we say, dang, Matty P, what was that? But overall, he's a dog. He's going to fulfill. He's going to be great. And he's going to do a great job. So, yeah, like you're absolutely right, Pooh Beard. He is a NFL guy. He's been there, done that. He has rings to prove it. He's went up against the greatest quarterbacks in the world. Why would he not be good in college with our athletes? It never made sense for people, man. People just be locking in on goofy emotional narratives and just refuse to step out of that to see clearly, Nevada. But I'm glad we got him.
Yeah, I think it was Johnny Manziel. I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of comments on this, but he came out and said something to the effect of, "Hey, he's used to scheming against Aaron Rodgers and Peyton Manning. What's he going to do against college quarterback?" It's a great point. It's a
right.
great point, and you're not talking about just any NFL defensive coordinator because that doesn't mean just anybody can become the NFL and do it. You're talking about a 3-time Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator, a
Yeah,
guy who's been a head coach, a defensive coordinator, and an offensive coordinator at the NFL level. So he is a certified genius, like a real legitimate genius.
yeah.
And in terms of the stuff that he's doing, the stuff we showed, the fact that he not only can formulate it, but teach it to the guys as quickly as he did, it just shows what a gem Matty P is. And so for the people, and that was the majority of the OSU beat was like negative about the higher. I mean, come on, guy, how wrong can you be? Just own it.
Yeah, it's just dumb, man. It's just like you even gotta be. It's not even like we just sitting here, just we're just smarter than everybody. I mean, maybe we are, but to me, it's just like just use your brain. Like this is not hard. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like there's some things that if you're wrong, it's like, dang, that was a really tough thing to decipher. Um, you know, but this was not, in my opinion. But whatever. I won't go on and on about it. All right. Adams, thanks for the 2. Patricia is better than Knowles with less drama. I agree, man. The way he banged out of here was little childish, a little shaky, a little like, come on, dude, you grown. Like for real, you butt hurt over this stuff. Like again, Ryan Day had to step in after the Oregon game and say, look, this ain't gonna work. We gotta get this together, sir. And I don't think he liked that, according to what we heard. So Yeah, I can't see Matty P being in a position like that. And being around Belichick, he ain't soft. You can't be soft and be around Belichick for years, right, Nevada?
No, I mean, you're talking about the goat and the fact that that crusty old guy chose him to run his defense for him. Yeah, it just shows you how much confidence he has in him. And the Knowles stuff. I mean, there's more. We could get into the. I don't want to go down the Knowles rabbit hole right now because there was definitely some tension that was created there from some of the demands that Ryan put on Knowles about what the type of defense he wanted to run. So I think it's not everything's not everything, but I'll just say this: it ended up the way it was supposed to end up. Knowles is in Penn State. We got Matt Patricia. Let's get it on. The world is right, and like I said, it just we got a national champion with Jim Knowles, so it's gonna far be it from me. You can bring all the drama mama you want, but if you win me a national championship, I'm like, okay, you're good with me because those don't come along very often, man. I went from 1968 to 2002 without a national championship, so I know we're getting
Yeah.
kind of spoiled because we're running them down 2014, 2024, but man, they don't come along often, so each one of them is certainly sweet for me.
Absolutely. And the last three coaches all have natties. I mean, how many programs have done that? Like, I don't know what the stat is on that, but I mean, we are spoiled, Nevada. We are super spoiled. I keep reminding our fans of this. We are just so blessed as Buckeye fans. I mean, like, yes, we've had some down, like, dang, we this slipped away, but man, we got way more highs than lows in the past 20, 25 years. It's incredible. So, all right, Will the Thrill, thanks for the 9.99. I've heard that Ryan Day was calling the plays and not Heartline. Any truth to this? I was there, very happy with the win. It was week one versus a great team with more continuity, plenty of time to grow. Nevada, what you got on this?
No, Ryan, look, Ryan was obviously very involved in terms of the game planning, giving, direction and guidance to Brian on the head. But Brian was calling the plays. I mean, that was Brian calling the plays. But, I think there's some nuance on this because, if Brian's saying, "Hey, Brian, let's keep it conservative here." I mean, he knows what he's saying, so he can be calling the plays without calling the plays. But, Brian got a chance to cut his teeth and do his thing. And I was proud of him because he's the wide receiver coach. He was an NFL wide receiver, so his instinct's always going to be to come out and throw the ball around. And he ran a very conservative game plan. So I kudos to him because that was the right call for that. That was the right horse for the course, and that was the right offense to run in terms of winning that game. So big marks to Brian Artline for that.
Yeah, and Ryan Day in the post game was talking about how he caught an unselfish game, Brian. I mean, because people, you got to understand it's a collaborative effort over the headset. Ryan Day's not saying, okay, run this now, run that now. But like, I think Nevada just nailed it by kind of guiding and saying, hey, this is what the situation is. Are we in agreement? What you got? And so, that's just how it goes. Like, this is what I got. This is what I'm going with. And then, of course, he can veto that as the head coach and as a play caller in his own right. But we won the game. I could care less. We won the game. I am super confident that we're going to be able to really open this offense up in the coming weeks, especially with the competition. All right, Adams, 9791. Thanks for the two. I love Blocko Buckeye leaves for crowd disruption. Me too. Me and Nevada in the stadium were high-fiving and finger gunning and like looking at the scoreboard and they put the sticker on the helmet. I mean, it was everything we thought it would be because we both before the game were excited about this enhancement. And it was dope. It did not disappoint. It got the crowd going even more. It was exactly how we thought it would be, Nevada.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, I started a thread and I was talking about which ones I'm most excited about, and I said the virtual Buckeye leaves was the one I was the most excited about. I mean, I think it's a great idea. It's just little things, and like I said, you try 10 little things, and maybe six of them work big, two of them don't work at all, and one kind of they're not sure. And one, I mean, but this one worked big, and I think it's going to be. I think that's going to be something that's iconic at Ohio State. I think it's just going to be part of the lore of the crowd is those virtual Buckeye leagues and how many can they earn,
Yeah.
in a game, and what's the most we've ever gotten, and that's how we're going to measure crowd performance. But yeah, I thought it was a great innovation, and Ohio State did a nice job with that.
Yep, they definitely did. I enjoyed it. All right, Pooh Beard, thanks for the 4.99. OSU's last opening game loss was 1999. Before then, 1950. 74-1 is insane consistency. Now we get to watch Tuscaloosa in flames too. Chef's kiss. Nevada, what you got on that?
Yeah, well, I mean, Tuscaloosa's. I mean, they're in trouble because they're gonna switch. They're gonna switch coaches. They're gonna. I mean, there's gonna be a change. DeBoer is gone. It's just a matter of when. And yeah, I mean, this is kind of dovetailing on a point that you made earlier, B, which is as an Ohio State fan, man, really enjoy this because yeah, no, we're not perfect. No, we don't win every year. No, we don't win every game. No, everything doesn't always go our way. But man, we are blessed to be an Ohio State fan. And
Yeah.
the last 20, 25 year, 30, for most a lot of people's, majority of their adult lifetime or fan lifetime, we've been really, really good. And let me tell you what, we're really, really good in 2025, and we're going to be better in 2026.
Oh,
So
yeah.
don't spend your time worrying about some stupid recruit that you're worried about 2027 or what's going on beyond that or whatever it is. We're going to be just fine. Ohio State's, they got it going on. They've got NIL in a good spot. They've got a great staff, a great young staff, a great president, a great AD. Don't get caught picking the nits. Just enjoy the ride because it's not always going to be this good, but it sure is for now.
Shut your mouth, Nevada. Let's wallow in misery, baby.
we
Wallow.
we missed on Brandon Baker. We missed on Brandon Baker. How are we gonna do it? Oh God. We'll play with Philip Daniels, the 3-star from Cincinnati, and he'll be just fine. He'll go out there and kick booty out there. So I'm fine.
Yeah, man, it's just amazing. I get it. Recruiting is its own culture and thing, and the obsession factor is there. I've followed it for years. I've been a recruiting guy for years, but I've also followed this program in general and watched college football for years. And so I try to balance everything out, man, because it's like once you've seen so much, especially with a program like Ohio State and how they've always endured, it's hard to just sit back and wring your hands constantly when you've just seen this program step up and endure and be as consistent. Looking at the screen, the consistency. Ohio State is one of the most consistent programs ever. It's just true. And so, to me, that's a part of why people real quick divide and we will close out. People look at it sometimes and just marvel over how we don't panic and just spew just, oh my god, negative, miserable, like the sky is falling. It's not because we just refuse to acknowledge impending doom. It's because we're seeing the whole picture based on the history of Ohio State, recent history, the moves being made when they stepped up, the adjustments, just the overall track record. It's hard for me to give into that when I've seen the bigger picture of what Ohio State's going to do, and we're not going to fall off. How many years have Michigan fans and haters been saying we're falling off and we're going to 8-4? Michigan fans were saying, just for example, Michigan fans, oh, we're at 8-4 this year, 3 or 4 losses, maybe 5 losses. Would have lost to Texas. Like it's just they've been preying on our downfall for years, Nevada. It ain't gonna happen. This program is a machine. They're gonna do what they need to do to keep it going, and we are just loaded with talent, and just the sky is the limit, brother.
Yeah, and a 45-year-old head coach who's ready to go on a dynastic run. So I'm going to be here for it.
Yes, I am here for it as well. So listen, and I'm glad you guys are here for it. Oh, I see one more super chat. Let's get that in real quick. The Buckeye Madness, thanks for the 199. Does CJD game remind you guys of Carlos Hyde? Not quite yet. Carlos Hyde, I need to see more. Carlos Hyde was very explosive for his size. I think he was a little more nimble than CJ. I need to see more, more than one game. But maybe you could say a poor man's Carlos Hyde, Nevada.
Well, he brings a physicality that we don't have. He brings a physicality that Peoples and Bo Jackson and Turbo Rogers don't possess. So he certainly has got that. And I mean, Carlos Hyde, remember, you got to remember about Carlos Hyde. The Carlos Hyde wasn't Carlos Hyde when he first started running. I mean,
True.
Carlos used to be run to darkness, man. He used to have this unbelievable ability to pick the wrong hole and run into the thing. And then He figured it out, became patient, it became a 10-year, 12-year NFL running back, so everybody's still a work in progress. I think CJ Donaldson's got a lot of upside, and I even liked him catching the ball out of the backfield. That was one of our best receptions of the day. So
Yeah.
I think he can add a lot of dimensions to us.
Yeah, that was a nice pickup for a first down. He showed he can catch. That's yeah. These running backs will get better. They don't have to be all world. They just have to be good and solid and dependable. And I think they can do that with more games and more reps. But listen, wonderful show, great show. We're still basking in the glory as we get ready for poor old Grambling State, coming into the shoe. We're going to keep celebrating this Texas win and these young boys and the growth they're going to have in the upcoming weeks. And we're here for it. We're glad you're here for it. Scoop family, we love you. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. Go Bucks. Peace.